Buckingham Palace has officially acknowledged a long-rumored cover-up, one that shakes the very timeline of Archie's birth. We're diving deep into the suspicious details behind Meghan and Harry's baby announcement, the bizarre hospital records, and the jaw-dropping palace documents that are finally coming to light. If a royal birth certificate hides the truth, what else could they be hiding? Drop your wildest theory in the comments, no matter how crazy it sounds. On May 6th, 2019, something strange happened at Buckingham Palace. It went eerily quiet. Hours passed before the world even knew Meghan had given birth. For a royal baby, that kind of silence is unheard of. Every other royal birth was announced within minutes, but with Archie, the palace waited a full 8 hours to speak. No royal correspondent was tipped off, no press buzzed outside the hospital, no traditional easel appeared immediately at the palace gates. Just silence. And silence in the royal world, that's deafening. The delay wasn't random. It shattered the carefully scripted image of royal transparency. Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Was Meghan not actually in Libra that day? Did something go wrong? Or was the palace buying time to align the story? Because when truth is delayed, suspicion multiplies. Every royal moment is usually choreographed to perfection. This one felt like a broken rhythm. And when rhythm breaks, people start listening between the beats. Never underestimate the message silence sends. It often speaks louder than words. Meghan claimed she gave birth at Portland Hospital, a posh, private London facility famous for celebrity deliveries. But here's the twist. Not a single photo, eyewitness account, or verified security detail backs that claim. No ambulance, no royal convoy, no entrance footage. For a royal birth, that's beyond bizarre. Even Kate Middleton, under tight security, was photographed leaving the hospital with newborns every time. But with Meghan, not a flashbulb in sight. Portland Hospital staff are known to leak small details, winks, whispers, even gossip to tabloids. But this time, total lockdown. Almost as if no royal birth ever took place there. One anonymous hospital worker even told a British outlet there was no buzz at all that day. Nothing royal. It's like the birth happened in a vacuum. The public was shown only a heavily edited photo op days later. No raw images, no hospital backdrop. Just Harry and Meghan smiling in a hallway, Archie swaddled tight, faceless, still, quiet. When all the usual signs are missing, it's no longer coincidence. It's choreography. Archie was born at 5:26 a.m., but the public didn't find out until nearly 2 p.m. That's a 7-hour delay, unprecedented for a royal birth. Kensington Palace, Clarence House, and even Buckingham's press office coordinated announcements within minutes for past royal babies. So why the holdup for Harry and Meghan's son? Because every minute of delay gave them time. Time to manage optics, time to craft the message, maybe even time to rewrite reality. That delayed announcement created a ripple effect. Media scrambled, timelines blurred, and eagle-eyed observers noticed discrepancies between what was said and what was seen. Journalists were told Meghan was in labor hours after Archie had already been born. Why lie about that? When timelines don't align, the story loses shape. And in the royal family, timing isn't just important, it's symbolic. Every minute counts. Every minute says something. Every minute leaves a trail. A 7-hour gap might not seem like much until you realize it rewrites history. At first glance, Archie's birth certificate looks standard. But a quiet change filed weeks later sent royal sleuths into a frenzy. Meghan's full name, Rachel Meghan Markle, was suddenly scrubbed. In its place, just her title, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Why erase her identity? And more importantly, why the backdate? The palace chalked it up to standard formatting, but PR insiders weren't buying it. Meghan's camp later claimed the palace forced the change without her consent. That contradiction turned a minor paperwork edit into a firestorm. Meghan Bolton is not needed to be the skeptic. Royal certificates are usually airtight. No edits, no reversals, no drama. Yet here, the mother's name vanishes and a title takes its place. Some saw it as a branding move, others as a legal shield. But among conspiracy theorists, it sparked whispers of a cover-up. Was the document being sanitized to match a different origin story? A royal title can hide a name, but it can't hide the truth. In their glossy Apple TV Plus docuseries, Harry casually dropped a line that sent truth seekers into overdrive. "We were already at home with Archie," he said, recounting how media pressure had pushed them into isolation. But wait, weren't they supposed to have been in Portland Hospital? The same place no one saw them enter, exit, or even mention in passing? One line, one contradiction, a royal oops, or a revealing truth. That offhand comment clashes with every official statement. It paints a new image, one where Archie's birth wasn't public, wasn't standard, and maybe wasn't where they said it was at all. And unlike tabloids, Harry's words carry weight. His slip-up wasn't buried. It's still streaming worldwide. That's not just a plot hole, it's a narrative crack. Psychologists call it a leakage cue, a spontaneous truth that escapes during false storytelling. And when it comes from a royal, it's more than just awkward. Sometimes the truth doesn't leak, it bloats out. In the final days before Archie's birth, Meghan made public appearances with a very visible baby bump. But then, just 48 hours later, press photos taken after the reported birth showed a dramatically slimmer figure. No postpartum swelling, no tired expressions. Just a glowing Meghan looking untouched. And that's where the whispers turned into full-blown speculation. For most mothers, recovery from childbirth, especially for a first baby, is physically obvious. But Meghan looked camera-ready in record time. Some critics said it was Hollywood glam. Others saw something deeper. Was the bump even real to begin with? That's when old clips resurfaced. Moments where Meghan's belly appeared to shift strangely or fold during sitting. Were these just illusions or signs of a prosthetic? Royal fans began asking, was a surrogate used? Was the timeline staged? Or were we simply watching the result of highly controlled PR? When the bump disappears, the questions don't. They multiply. Just weeks before and after Archie's birth, 3 senior royal aides abruptly resigned. One was Meghan's personal assistant, another had been managing palace logistics, and a third was part of Harry's long-trusted inner circle. Their exits came without warning, and without the usual public praise royal staffers receive when stepping down. Coincidence or controlled collapse? Insiders called it burnout. But whispers from behind palace walls suggested something far more explosive. Frustration, secrecy, and a clash over how the Sussexes handled Archie's birth rollout. One staffer reportedly said they were asked to play along with something that didn't feel right. That doesn't sound like burnout. That sounds like cover-up fatigue. When seasoned professionals, trained in discretion, lock away mid-crisis, the alarm bells should ring. These weren't minor assistants. These were gatekeepers. And gatekeepers don't quit unless the castle is shaking. People don't flee calm ships. They flee storms. When Meghan and Harry sat down with Oprah in 2021, the world stopped. They discussed racism, suicidal thoughts, and royal cruelty. But one topic was noticeably tiptoed around: Archie's birth. Oprah didn't press, Meghan didn't offer details. Instead, the narrative jumped straight from wedding drama to mental health. And that's no accident. Media experts noted how the interview framed Meghan as a victim while steering away from timeline inconsistencies. The Oprah moment was a masterclass in emotional storytelling. Raw, powerful, and perfectly timed. Just as questions about Archie's birth were peaking online, a new narrative drowned them out. That's how PR works. When the story gets too messy, you give the public something messier, so they forget what they were asking. It wasn't just an interview, it was a firewall. Sometimes, the best way to hide a secret is to cry louder than the truth. Before we dive into the second half, what do you believe really happened with Archie's birth? Was it just extreme privacy or something far more calculated? Drop your take in the comments. Serious theory or wild guess? We're watching all of them. And if you've made it this far, you're clearly not here for fluff. Hit that subscribe if you're ready for truth that doesn't blink. Now, back to the twist no one expected. Archie's christening was royal, but barely. Held in Queen Elizabeth's private chapel at Windsor, the event was locked down tighter than a state secret. No press, no photo call, not even a glimpse of the Archbishop performing the rite. Only 2 pictures were released, and both looked more like fashion spreads than a sacred moment. And then came the real bombshell. No public record exists of the water blessing. For royal christenings, it's tradition to use water from the River Jordan. The ceremony is usually documented, witnessed by key church officials, and followed by public acknowledgement from the crown. But Archie's? No such details ever emerged. Not a single confirmation from the Church of England. That's not discretion, that's deviation. Even Prince George's christening, heir to the throne, had more visibility. So why keep Archie's so veiled? When holy rites go dark, the questions shine brighter. Here's a legal twist most people missed. Archie, born to an American mother and British father, was eligible for dual citizenship. But according to U.S. records, no consular report of birth abroad, known as a CRBA, has ever been made public. That document is essential for American citizenship when born overseas. And for a couple obsessed with control, that's a red flag. If Archie had truly been born in London to Meghan, the paperwork should be straightforward. Yet no U.S. acknowledgement, no embassy confirmation, no sign of American documentation ever surfaced. For someone who later moved to California, that's odd. It's not just about legal status, it's about origin. If Archie was born elsewhere or via surrogate, filing false documents could spark an international scandal. So instead of forging a paper trail, maybe they skipped one entirely. When the paper trail vanishes, people start following footprints. After months of speculation, Buckingham Palace was finally pressed to respond to rumors about Archie's birth. Their statement? Just one cold, clipped line. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are entitled to their privacy. That's it. No denial, no clarification, no confirmation. For a family that prides itself on protocol and order, the vagueness was deafening, even during explosive scandals. From Diana to Andrew, the palace usually provides some form of structured rebuttal. But this time, silence, cloaked in formality. That wasn't a response, it was an escape hatch. Experts saw it as a legal shield, carefully worded to avoid confirming or denying any of the swirling questions. In doing so, the palace may have accidentally confirmed the most important thing of all. They're hiding something. When truth is easy to tell but isn't, you should ask why. Even royal insiders were baffled. Veteran biographers like Robert Lacey and Penny Jr., who's covered the monarchy for decades, admitted they couldn't verify key details about Archie's birth. Dates were fuzzy, locations conflicted, sources dried up. And in the royal reporting world, that's unheard of. Normally, these authors get behind-the-scenes access, whispers from aides, nods from palace staff, and quiet confirmations that piece the puzzle together. But this time, nothing. Even Finding Freedom, the Sussex-approved biography, glossed over the birth with generic phrasing and awkward gaps. When the official storytellers can't tell the story, something's off. One former aide even claimed biographers were given strict no-go zones when it came to Archie. Not security-related boundaries, image-related ones. As if truth had to be quarantined to protect the brand. A story you can't tell might be the one that matters most. No matter how often it's dismissed, the surrogacy theory refuses to disappear. Why? Because too many puzzle pieces still don't fit. From Meghan's ever-changing bump shape to the missing hospital trail and zero public postpartum recovery, something just doesn't add up. Even skeptics admit, this isn't your typical royal birth story. In online forums, timelines have been dissected to the minute. Medical professionals have weighed in on footage. Some point out how Meghan cradled her bump unusually high, even late into pregnancy. Others highlight how the size and firmness shifted dramatically in different lighting. But here's the kicker. Meghan never addressed it directly. She's tackled racism, mental health, press harassment, every topic under the sun. But when it comes to how Archie entered the world, silence. And when every topic is on the table, except one, that's the one people remember. In their Netflix docuseries, Harry and Meghan, we're shown rare glimpses of Archie's early days, his nursery, his babbling, his bonding moments. But eagle-eyed viewers notice something strange. None of the footage shows Archie as a newborn, not one frame. Every clip seems to start when he's already months old. That's not just an editing choice, it's a storytelling strategy. Because newborn footage, even a single shot, would have helped validate the timeline they've been so protective of. But all we see are curated montages, a smiling baby, perfect lighting, carefully composed scenes. No raw moments, no delivery day photos, no shaky handheld footage from exhausted new parents. It's cinematic, but curiously sanitized. Netflix has a team of editors, sure, but Harry and Meghan had final say, and they chose a polished narrative over a personal one. When the cameras roll and still nothing feels real, that speaks louder than silence. In official family portraits released by Buckingham Palace during Archie's first year, one face was conspicuously absent: his great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. While photos existed of her meeting other royal great-grandchildren, George, Charlotte, Louis, there was no verified image of her holding Archie. And in the royal world, that's not an accident. It's a message. Courtiers later claimed a meeting did happen in private, but no photo, no statement, no commemorative moment for the Queen's first biracial great-grandchild. That's not just a PR oversight. It's intentional distance. Windsor tradition is built on visibility. Every handshake, every christening, every birthday is immortalized. And when it's not, that absence becomes louder than words. Insiders whispered that the Queen was deeply concerned about how Archie's birth was handled. If true, keeping her image away from the controversy may have been her only form of subtle protest. Silence is powerful, but absence is deafening. In the early days, the British tabloids were relentless, tracking Meghan's every move, speculating wildly about her pregnancy, and even timing contractions. But right after Archie's birth, something strange happened. They stopped digging. No journalists camped outside the hospital. No aerial shots of Windsor. No leaked photos from staff. It was as if every outlet received the same silent memo: don't touch this. And in the UK press, that kind of coordinated silence only happens under one condition: legal risk. Insiders hinted at aggressive legal threats from the Sussex legal team. Others pointed to quiet deals struck with major outlets: pull back or face a full-on more. But in an industry built on scandal, why fold now? Because maybe this scandal had real teeth. When the press chooses fear over fame, you know something's buried. Fast forward to 2023 and suddenly Harry's US visa is under legal review. Why? Because court documents revealed he may have omitted key facts during his immigration application, including past drug use and possibly Archie's birth details. And just like that, a forgotten puzzle piece snapped back into focus. If Archie was born via surrogate or outside the UK, or if timelines were misrepresented, Harry's immigration paperwork could be in violation. That's not just a paperwork error, that's a federal offense. Suddenly, what started as gossip became a matter of law. One small omission, one big consequence. Analysts believe that if Archie's birth didn't happen where or how it was claimed, it could trigger retroactive scrutiny, not just for Harry's visa, but Meghan's too. What once seemed like tabloid fuel might soon sit in a federal file. Truth doesn't care about titles, only timelines. At the center of this firestorm is the simplest question of all. Where was Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor actually born? The official story claims Portland Hospital in London. But there were no hospital staff sightings, no confirmed security detail, no footage of the Sussexes arriving or leaving. And when pressed, the hospital declined comment. Highly unusual for a royal birth that would typically be a PR goldmine. Now, here's the curveball. A few private jet trackers noticed unexplained flights between London and Los Angeles in the weeks leading up to Archie's reported birth. Could Meghan have flown out early and delivered in secret, away from royal eyes? If so, that changes everything: citizenship, succession rights, and public trust. Because a royal mystery isn't just about where life begins, it's about where the truth ends. For years, Archie's birth has lived in a fog of secrecy, unanswered questions, vanishing timelines, and royal silence. And while we may never get a confession, the clues keep stacking up. A missing document, a disappearing bump, a palace that says nothing, while the world keeps asking everything. So, what do you think? Was it privacy or a royal production? And what happens if proof finally surfaces? Hit subscribe, we're just getting started.